ever been shown in the United States. So we feel very, very lucky for it to be here. And I thank you, Clara, for making this an enjoyable process. And I feel honored to promote your work and have it here at Smith Center. And Clara joins us all the way from Italy. She flew in just last night for this opening. So we all are very lucky and fortunate to have her here this evening. So hope you have a lot of questions and you can sort of pick her brain while we have her, because it's a short window. Okay. So in order to jump in, I thought I would just sort of ask a few questions and Clara can sort of tell her story that way. So one of the first questions I have is just, how did you begin this process? How did you come to this prison?
So basically, everything started like when I was 19, so like a few years ago. And I started to do a documentary project about all the theater in the Tuscany region in Italy. There were like about 13 different prisons that they were doing theater inside. And I immediately fell in love with this one because it was so much different from the others. I mean, because it's they are professional actors and it's not just about you know, like an activity for education or rehabilitation. Is acting, and for them it's a job. They are actors, they are paid for these when they go out in tournée. So basically it was something different, and you can see it like from how they act, how they play their roles. And you can see it also from the picture maybe, but when you see them for real, it's just amazing what they really make you feel. And so I started to go there in prison like every year. It's about 6-7 years that I'm doing that, like every summer, because in July they have like 1 week shows inside the prison with the public coming from outside. That you have like to ask a permission, and then you can go there like to see the shows. And so I started to go there basically, and then to follow them in tournée, because they do also tournees all around the theaters in Italy. And so I became kind of closest to them, you know. So started like this, yeah, basically, yeah.
I mean, one of the things that really struck me, I guess, as an American, is that in our culture, the prisons are closed and they're isolated from the rest of the community, and they never leave the prisons. But what Clara has educated me on is in Italy, they have these privileges where they can roam the towns, and then at the end of the day, they report back to prison.
Yeah, basically it works like this, like after a while that you're in prison, like after many years, like 15-20 years, there is this Article 18 on the Italian Constitution where you can actually go out and work. The important thing is that you go back to sleep into the prison. So like, for example, that guy in the second picture, he's a famous actor now in Italy because he did the last Gallery movie, that is the Gomorrah director, so maybe you have heard about him. And now he's kind of famous because he won Cannes, you know, and so he could go out and play the movie, and then he went back to prison to sleep every day in Naples, for example. So they have this possibility actually. And even when I went with them in tournée, I mean, we just took a bus with some guards, and they were like all around the city during the day, then during the night there was the show, and then they went back to prison. It's like, you know, you can do like any job, like for example, sometimes they are like painter or they do construction. In this case, they are actors, basically.
So why was this man in prison? What was his crime?
Yeah, he basically killed 2 people because he's from Naples, and he used to work in, he was to be part of the Camorra. So it's like the mafia, but it's like the mafia from Naples. Most of them are from mafia or Camorra, actually.
And do the families who have lost the people who were killed ever come to performances? Those who realize what they're doing? Is there any connection with?
Not that much. Yeah. I mean, it's not like very clear. You know, the people who come there. I mean, some of the people are part of families and relatives of the prisoner, but most of them are actually strangers.
So when use the word redemption. What does it mean to you in relation to the work you're doing?
I mean, the word redemption is pretty important because it's through their acting and playing, you know, they start to have another role in their lives, so not only in theater, you know. And so it's like a new beginning for them because, of course, they committed very, very bad crimes. But, you know, like after 20 years you are in a prison, like closed in a cell, you also can change in some way, like doing different activities. And I believe in this, you know. I believe that people if they have commitment, they can have this kind of possibilities. And yeah, that probably everybody should have. Of course, he doesn't have to be free and to do whatever he wants, but if he has a job or he does something productive, it's better for the whole society, you know. It's not just better for him.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did they give you trouble in the prison when you came and proposed going in to photograph? Was that a hurdle, or were they very open?
No. Oh, so it was hard to get into the prison. I mean, at the beginning it was a little bit easier because we got this grant from the Tuscan region. So, like, they really helped us to get the permission to get in there. Then, like, I started to be very, you know, like, friends with the people working inside, with the director, that it's an amazing, he's a genius. Like, he's the guy who founded the company that you can see in this picture. Is this guy, and he's a real, like, artist. Like, it's amazing, and
He's the director of the
he's
prison?
a director that is not a prisoner, but like he chose 20 years ago to basically become a prisoner because he every single day he goes into prison and he teaches them how to act, play, read. Most of the time read, because most of them they couldn't even read at the beginning. And most of them are like, some of them, like for example, these guys from Tunisia, and he got arrested when he arrived in Italy, so he didn't know Italian, for example. So, you know, like, he started to read them Shakespeare and a lot of novels and poems, and they started to, you know, to have a culture, basically, that it's important even for these people, you know, like, to get culture, you know. So, yeah, for this reason it was impressive, this thing. Absolutely. Yeah.
What was the music